Chapter 14, Afghanistan and Pakistan, Part 1. Late April 1971. I'm at the train station, waiting to depart by bus from Mashhad, Iran. Earlier today, I got my transit visa at the consulate to enter Afghanistan. After a 4-hour wait, I board a bus that takes us from Mashhad to the small town of Tayyibat, Iran, near the border with Afghanistan. In these parts of the world, the borders are often miles apart. A veritable no-man's land spreads out between. "Herat, tonight! Herat, tonight!" bellows the ticket-taker conductor. Herat is the first major city after entering the country from the west. A group of us waiting at the train station all jump up in unison upon hearing "Herat tonight." The tickets are quickly sold out as we all squeeze into this little stub of a bus painted in black, 5 rows of seats on each side of the aisle. I am reintroduced to a couple of young English blokes on the bus that I met earlier at the train station.
"Hello, bloke. I'm Richard, and this is Roger. This bus is bloody crowded,"
he says. The two of them squeeze into the seat with me.
"You okay, man?"
says Roger to me. "I'm starting to get claustrophobic in here," I reply, breathing heavily. "I'll be okay as long as we get the damn bus moving."
"Your name is?"
"Oh yeah, sorry, I'm Steve from America, but I also answer to Woodstock."
"Okay, Woodstock," says Richard. "Have you ever been to Afghanistan?"
"No, this will be a first for me. I've been trekking for 7 months now. What about you guys?"
"We're heading out east to India and Nepal and flying to Australia. We went to college together in England, just graduated, now we're traveling the world before going back home and starting a career, working a job, etc."
I'm basically coming from the same storyline as you guys. I just graduated with a 4-year general business degree. I'm thinking about going to law school, but that decision is on hold. I've dreamed about wandering the world since I was a young kid. My favorite magazine has always been National Geographic. I would fantasize in my imagination being in all these different cultures and places, meeting all different types of people. Now I'm finally doing it, I say. Our silly-looking little black bus is finally on the road, taking us into Afghanistan. All the seats are filled as the overflow people sit in the aisles. After just a couple hours on the road, the driver slows down to approach the border. We are told we will not be allowed to cross the Afghan border tonight as the immigration station is closed for the evening. Richard, Roger, and I bitch and complain to the driver to no avail. We are stuck on the bus for the evening. People walk off the bus. The ticket taker requests payment. We refuse to pay and push our way through the crowd and off the bus. "I'm not paying anything," I complain.
"Me neither,"
chimes in Richard.
"What the blood in hell? They said Herat tonight, right?"
questions Roger. "And then he wants his money already? Bullshit," I say.
"Yeah, a lot of people are paying up though, mate," says Richard. "Not from us, not tonight, not till we get to Herat," says Roger.
The 3 of us go for a walk, taking our backpacks with us. There are some buildings close to the border, like a real small village. It literally feels like we are in the middle of nowhere. We see a group of travelers up ahead who locate a small hotel and restaurant. We follow to catch up. A sandstorm is brewing up out in the desert. By the time we make it to the small hotel, the long line of travelers are leaving, snaking back to the bus for the night. No one wants to stay here or eat here. What's the problem? The 3 of us continue going forward against the grain. "It can't be that bad, guys. Better than staying on the bus for the night," I say.
"All the people didn't think so,"
complains Roger. "Well, let's check it out," I say. We meet the hotel proprietor and pay for a room for the night. He tells us the main hotel is full, but we will sleep in a small building behind the little hotel. Inside is a red carpeted, white-walled room with no furniture. Probably serves as a makeshift prayer mosque, I surmise. He makes for us to take off our shoes by the door and sit down. He takes his shoes off and sits on the red carpet. The three of us follow suit. The little Afghani glares at us with his black as coal, weather-beaten, crow-footed eyes. But he's quiet and doesn't say a word, almost as if he is putting himself in a trance. "Hey, guys, I'm getting spooked here. Something's not right," whispers Roger. "Be cool, man. Everything will be all right," says Richard. "I'm uncomfortable," whines Roger. "You have been ever since we entered Muslim lands," says Richard. "So what's so new about this? You're always uneasy, mate. Just relax." Richard reaches over and rubs Roger's shoulder and pats him on the back. I'm staring back into the dark eyes of our host. The hotel man is still in a trance. Finally, the man comes out of his trance and smiles at me. The hotel operator offers to sell us a small amount of Afghani hashish. He motions as if smoking from a pipe. We all laugh, understanding the basic universal sign language to bridge the communication gap. The man seems kind and friendly to me. We share a few tokes together. Roger still looks a little uptight, but Richard is free and easy. The wind howls in the desert as a sandstorm begins to envelop the area. The Afghani proprietor motions for us to follow him. Then we go into the hotel to inspect the rest of the premises. We look inside one of the empty rooms. Roger spots what looks like dried blood splattered on the wall. He points at it. Roger's eyes about bug out and lets out a muffled gasp. The two English blokes are suddenly paranoid and fearful. I try to act courageous and ignore what I see, try not to jump to conclusions, but if they're not staying, I'm not staying. The wind is whooping up to the point of literally howling. The scene is very eerie. Without saying a word to each other, the guys bolt out of there in a fast-paced walk. I wait a quick second, then follow after them. We didn't even ask for our money back. Outside, the sandstorm is now in full bloom. We have to walk across the countryside, literally blinded, hoping we are heading in the right direction. We kind of crawl our way back through the sandstorm to the bus and the border checkpoint building. The driver won't let us back on the bus because we didn't pay earlier when requested. With our tails between our legs, so to speak, we bundled up against the building to shield ourselves from the storm and wait out another sleepless night. Well into the evening, the sandstorm clears to reveal a brilliant sky lit up with sparkles of bright stars. What a storybook sky, a deep, dark ocean shining with diamonds. I am in awe of the universe. In the morning, I'm first in line when the immigration office opens, along with the English blokes, Richard and Roger. Afterwards, we board the little black bus once again. The rail-thin bus conductor, really just a boy, wearing a turban and black baggy pants, demands the 50 Afghanis we didn't pay yesterday. The three of us are still pissed at him for not allowing us back on the bus during the sandstorm last night. So we push by him and refuse to pay initially. The conductor hollers and swears at us. Everyone else on the bus has paid for their tickets, but the three of us are holdouts. Finally, the driver takes off into Afghanistan. Our hassle has only just begun, though. The conductor makes repeated trips to the back of the bus to berate us into paying. He is fuming mad. The three of us laugh at him. The conductor comes charging back at us again, only this time he comes rushing right at me, slaps me upside the head, and swipes my glasses off my face. I'm not laughing anymore. The little Afghani conductor hurries back to the front of the bus with my eyeglasses. Now the joke's on me as he laughs at us. We agree to finally pay the conductor to end the standoff so I can get my glasses back. He held my glasses as ransom. I guess I deserve that. What the hell? Here I am in Afghanistan, and I'm ready to have a rollicking good time. Finally, we arrive in Herat, Afghanistan. What a fantastic desert town with ruins on the periphery all around. But it's the life and the people who are truly different. Our first stop is at a tiny mud brick tea house. How bizarre. Hashish is simply everywhere. We are now a group of 4. A German youth, Fritz, has joined me and the English blokes. I blow into my flute. Fritz pulls his flute from his pack and joins me. What an exotic moment, drawn right from my visualizing imagination to present experience. Dream is reality. A guy walks up to our table and offers a hamburger-sized patty of hashish to the 4 of us. Sure enough, we're getting started in our Afghani adventure, just fitting right in. Soon we are ushered into the back room of the tea house, where a tall water pipe is the main attraction, and we partake in the local custom. What a gas. After leaving the tea house, the 4 of us meander to a rather primitive and very cheap hotel. Fritz and I get a room together. Richard and Roger are in the next room. A shower and sleep is what I need. I've hardly slept in 5 straight days of travel. I'm really beat and very mellow, lethargic, ready for some good, uninterrupted rest. 2 days later, and I finally wake up. I was dead to the world. I must have slept 30 hours straight. I'm looking forward to wandering around Herat now that I'm refreshed. Fritz, Richard, Roger, and I journey to a local market bazaar. Fritz and I somehow get separated from the other 2. So what do? We locate a scruffy-looking tea house. We take a seat and order tea. A guy invites us into a small inner room in the back. We soon learn this is to be the custom in these parts. A large water pipe made up of a huge vase with a pipe and bowl sticking straight up, packed with hashish, is offered. We partake once again. I sustain and maintain a calm, mellow inner peace with each new drag on the hookah. This is a come-true dream. All the great hashish we want at a price so cheap it might as well be free, and seemingly without any fear of arrest or reprisal. I am free as a bird, free as the wind blows, free as the sun shines, free as the stars glow, free as the wine-dark sea. I am a child of the universe, a free-born world wanderer. Fritz and I wander back through the marketplace to our hotel. We lose track of time. The tea and the hookah did the trick. We're both lost in our own heads. Where is our home base? Where we sleep? Lost like the blind leading the blind, we wander. Oh, another tea house. Let's stop in for a bit. More hours of the day get lost in free-flowing time. Somehow, with our heads in the clouds and our feet on the ground, we find the right way back to the hotel. The journal I bought in Luxembourg when I started this trip is just about full. The west flows into the east. I purchased a new journal while wandering through the bazaar. I must continue chronicling my stories and adventures on this world-traveling journey. One day I may turn these notes and jottings into a book or a movie. Afghanistan is what I have always dreamed of, otherworldly, very exotic. The reality meets my dreams. In order to keep rolling, I'm going to have to take my family up on the loan that was previously offered. Now that I've made it this far, I can't let my lack of money keep me from advancing further. My soul needs this experience, requires the experience for my future's spiritual evolution. The wandering journey is priceless. I may never have another chance. The scenes here blow my mind again and again. The streets are filled with turbaned men wearing robes and loose flowing pants. I walk by small open-air stores, more like a stall, in which a single man attends to his primitive wares. Carriages roll down the dusty roads, usually pulled by a donkey, with the constant soft jingles from the harness bells. The whole setting and culture is like out of a living history ancient storybook. I am enthralled. I leave the hotel alone and wander off into the city. During my journey, I spot a nearby ruin and head toward it. Things of antiquity always fascinate me. I somehow feel an ancient connection with the cultures of people who inhabited various ruins. I never knew this strong attraction existed within me until this trip. I am at one with all the people of the world, past and present. I am in the flow. I feel the flow. The true earth resonance vibrates to my core. The ruin is like a castle up on the hill in the midst of the city. I climb high up to the wall, then I sit in the sun and play my flute, leaning back against the ancient wall. Smiling local kids walk by. Hello, goodbye. I play my flute in harmony to the vibrations of nature, people, the desert, hope for enlightenment, and gratitude for all life. The people truly flow so gently here, timeless, priceless, moments of ever-present experience. I am becoming at one with my environment. Drinking tea with the local natives is such an incredible experience of hospitality. I'm wandering through a fairy tale land. But what good is a fairy tale without women? Very strange. Women can only be seen as a ghostly, shadowy presence under their burqas, the hooded full-length gowns with a screen covering the face. It's like a scene from biblical times. I feel compassion and empathy for the females. After a while, you get used to the situation and just ignore them as non-existent when they walk on by. Such is the custom. No Westerner would ever have a chance to approach a native female in Afghanistan. My future holds much decision-making for me when I get resettled back home in America. I'm not ready to take on those challenges just yet. For now, I'm the big kahuna traveling east on the hippie trail, past the Hindu Kush, perhaps to the Khyber Pass, the Punjab, on into the Kashmir, India, and Nepal. It has been a fantasy trip, and I'm doing what I always dreamed of doing. My flow with the people who come into and out of my life during these adventures is almost always good. I get through some rough patches now and then, but I just keep on moving. Life is a grand experience. Afghanistan has brought my head smashing to new heights of never before, never imagined experience in the enjoyment of travel and getting along with the native peoples. Oh, what a groove I'm in. I could wander the globe my whole life if money were not an obstacle. There's nothing like the love of place, though, what one would consider home. I can wander all I want or desire, but the attractive force of the pull toward home and family is always there. It's Friday, April 30, 1971, and I've made plans to move towards Kandahar tomorrow morning. Herat has been a wonderful experience, but I'm itching to get moving, along with the two English blokes, Richard and Roger. We purchased tickets for a bus ride. I've got my gear packed up, and I'm ready to go. In the morning, we visit a tea house one final time, then head to the bus depot. We are in for a long, hot ride in the desert. It is very stuffy and hard to breathe in the oven-like atmosphere. The ride is grueling to endure. We are roasted in the dry dust by the time we arrive in Kandahar around 4 in the afternoon. The English blokes and I get a hotel room together, grab a bite to eat, and relax for the rest of the evening. In the morning, I go for a wandering stroll around town. Fairy tale land customs continue unabated. Many of the men have small birds as pets. They hold them, play with them, feed them, and carry the birds around in cages, often covered by a white cloth. I oftentimes find myself enraptured with imagery of pirates or 1001 Arabian Nights in their turbans and flowing clothes. This place is so mood-pervading with its culture that it never ceases to amaze me. The only thing I can compare it to is when I first experienced Morocco, but it is way more primitive than Morocco, without the influence of the French and African culture. The streets at night are enchanting to experience. I sit in the small balcony of our hotel overlooking the street. 4 camels walk by loaded down with bales of straw, so large you can barely see the animals. The shops around here have wide open fronts with no doors along the dirt avenues. Small gas lamps illuminate the roadway. People, all men, gather and intermingle everywhere. There is a jingle of bells as a horse-drawn carriage drives by. A bit of night air magic is there. The heat is suffocating here in Kandahar. Yesterday I had 6 ice creams. Today I've already had 3. It only costs 3 cents a serving. Snow is brought down from the mountains as there is no refrigeration, far less a freezer. The ice cream is made to order in a large metal bowl like a tub that is flat on the bottom with a metal cylinder in the center filled with snow. The ice cream maker swishes vanilla liquid from a pitcher and scrapes it off the cylinder into my dish. Very delicious, great treat on a hot day. There is really nothing to do here each day but jive around. The English blokes and I are ready to move on to Kabul. We purchased bus tickets but missed the bus. It's never on time, or so we were told. Today we are a little late, but the bus is on time. No refund either. One more night in Kandahar. Next morning, we arrive at the bus depot early to make sure we depart this time. We received many offers for drug smuggling. I don't care for the risk, the money, or the greed. Neither does Richard or Roger. We shake our heads no to each new proposition. We board the bus for Kabul. The vehicle is very worn and dilapidated, which is typical. The bus is all painted up with weird writings and symbols I do not understand. I've learned that the roads between the major cities were built by either Americans or Russians. The old bus gives us a pleasant ride most of the way before almost conking out as we approach the capital city. I didn't think it was going to make it, but we chugged and spitfired our way to the local bus depot. Kabul is quite the place. It is more modern than the primitiveness I've become used to here in Afghanistan. It's so wonderful to see green grass and trees due to Kabul's higher elevation. I spent all my time in Afghanistan in desert city living conditions. The desert is hell on you after a while, so dry, hot, and relentless. The grass lawns are so beautiful, they just make me smile. There are many tourist shops filled with goods here in Kabul. I didn't see anything so extravagant in Herat or Kandahar. Kabul has more of an international, cosmopolitan feel, being the country's capital city, yet still primitive Afghani style. As the crow flies direct from Herat to Kabul is a desolate wasteland of endless snares and pitfalls, bluffs, blind canyons, rocky scarp, sand barrens, salt marshes, rifts a quarter-mile deep, labyrinths of gorges, ravines, defiles, spurs, dead ends, and rivers of quicksand. Such is the impassable Hindu Kush. That's why I had to take the roundabout way through Kandahar to get to Kabul. This land is harsh in many ways, but the people are wonderful. I've received some letters from my family members back home. I have some more money to keep me going. I'm writing back to let them know to send the next letters to New Delhi, India, and to send me some more money too. Wow, I'm having a blast. Even if I live to be 100 years old, I will never forget this stretch of time as I wander the world. I'm grooving out, thinking of the new ventures that loom ahead as I've decided to join Richard and Roger going further east to Kashmir, India, Nepal. Right now, the Khyber Pass lies in front of me once I depart Kabul. The earth means something different to everyone. Our limited views are based on the environments we live in and traverse. Most of us live a life with no clue of understanding of the vast multitudes populating all of nature. As a human race, we are so much more than we ever come to realize. The diversity of humanity is bountiful. What a joy to be alive. Kabul is one of the nodes on the hippie trail, with literally thousands of Western travelers, mostly young and somewhat hip, hanging out in a kind of loose-knit community. The Western community is served by the ever-flowing, unusual tourist industry. The main drag where Westerners hang out in this community in Kabul is known as Chicken Street. So my experiences in Kabul center around Chicken Street. Because Kabul is the capital of Afghanistan, a certain international community is here by definition. There are restaurants, hotels, and tourist shops in some quantity. Western-style clothing is worn here to some degree, even with the locals. I've noticed some native women walking around daringly open-faced. The strictures upon society with the strict customs have been loosened here. Kabul is a thriving place. I visit the American embassy, followed by the India embassy. My passport is stamped and in order. I'm ready to travel. Back to the hotel, I pack up my gear. "Hey, Woodstock, where you off to now?" inquires Richard. "I'm ready for India, man. What about you guys?"
"We're going into India as far as New Delhi, then flying to Perth, Australia from there. We may spend a couple months roaming the outback."
"I'm going as far as Nepal," I say. "My goal is to get to Kathmandu. Then I'll start planning my trek back home. I'm 7 months into it now. If I keep going forward, I may be gone for a whole year." "Roger doesn't say much, eh?" I say to Richard in a hushed voice. Roger is sleeping.
No, he has his moments, but he's mostly quiet and moody, keeps to himself, as you've noticed. But we get along just fine. I just let him be himself."
"Yeah, he's a good dude," I say, "but his quietness can be unnerving to me at times. He sometimes has that wild, far-off look, like he could be a schizoid."
Richard laughs at me. "Don't worry about my man Rogers, okay? He's just a very paranoid around this culture, that's all. You and me are more easygoing and just take it all in flow. Not so for Roger."
"Thanks for letting me know that," I say. "I'll cut him some slack and be a more caring bloke."
"Bloody well right you will," says Richard with good humor.
Next morning, we hitch a ride for a few cents apiece in the back of a painted lorry, a truck decorated with exotic, colorful designs. Richard, Roger, and I enjoy a trip through Kabul city proper to a bus depot in the center of town. Goodbye to the fairy tale land in the beautiful big city of Kabul, Afghanistan. The three of us board the bus filled with a myriad of local folks. We proceed through some of the most beautiful country. We are going through the Kabul Gorge, and the views are magnificent. The gorge is the Kabul River going down, down, down towards the Pakistan border. We are way up in the mountains descending the overlook. There's a rock slide on the road, so we must wait for a bulldozer to finish clearing the way. The road overlooks the raging river 1,000 feet below. Richard and I get off the bus and watch the crew clear the road and take in the wonder of the majestic setting we find ourselves witnessing in Mother Nature.
"Is this an utterly fantastic sight, or what?" I exclaim. "I'm with you, mate. There are elements can be breathtaking," agrees Richard.
The both of us stare down the length of the gorge, taking in all the splendor of the sight. Water flowing, moving, rushing faster, whitecaps bubbling up, liquid splashing. Down the gorge it goes, feeding into the rapid river. "Yahoo!" I yell. We cross the Kabul River and make it to the town of Jalalabad, still in Afghanistan though. There we change buses and ride to the border. Richard and I decide to sit on the top of the bus. Bad move. It's so damn hot sitting in the blistering sun. We wait and wait to get going. Finally we're moving. The wind feels great, but my body still feels baked. I'm getting a headache and nausea from the heat. We cross into Pakistan at the border without an issue. Then we disembark from the bus. A Greek guy, Nico, owns a 1956 Chevy cab. He offers to give us a ride to Peshawar, the first big town, for 50 cents apiece. We load our gear in the trunk. I sit in the passenger seat up front. Roger and Richard sit in the back. We are getting ready to venture through the Khyber Pass. It's very historic. As we change at the border, traveling on the left side of the road, entering the English system, a very confusing situation. The Khyber Pass is loaded with riflemen everywhere. The roadside is filled with tumble-down old western-looking towns, with all the locals sporting ammunition belts across their shoulders. It looks like a gunfight could break out at any moment anywhere along the dangerous Khyber Pass, which is filled with tribesmen. We undertake the journey through the high adventure in our taxi. Nico is very calm and quiet, so we follow his lead, although my heart rate and breathing is going extra heavy. The tension of traveling through the Khyber Pass is palpable. You can literally feel the hot, heavy stress and tension in the air. The locals love to smile at you while they show off their bullet belts and guns. Running the gauntlet is very menacing indeed. It takes us 3 hours to cover a trip of about 100 miles through sandy and rocky terrain. Peshawar is great. It's a lively, good-sized town. But we have no plans to hang around. We're just passing through Pakistan to get to India, our next destination. I'm starting to feel the transition into the East, the magical, mystical East of legend and lore. Wow, I'm getting near, on the doorstep of a whole new reality, straight from my dreams and fantasies to the living expression of my daily experience. It will be different. I've been in the Arab and Muslim lands for quite some time. Now I'm going to wander amongst the Hindus, the Sikhs, and Buddhists. We get a hotel overnight. Then in the morning, we purchase train tickets to take us to Lahore, Pakistan. We board the train in the late afternoon and travel all night long. I sleep through most of the trip in my seat. In the morning around 9, we arrive in Lahore. We are now near the Indian border.